Alright, hello, welcome back. Um, let's see. Last time I spoke about zombies, there's a couple of other things I want to talk about. Kind of on my monsters. My scary monsters kick. So, today I thought I'd go with, something that's been slightly tarnished in popular media the past several years or so. Probably hasn't had any good representation in a while. But, it's everybody's smooth. People of the night. Listen to them. Children of the night. What sweet music they make. That, of course, was a line done by Bela Lugosi in the 1931 movie Dracula. Yes, I'm talking about vampires. More specifically, I'm thinking about Dracula himself, because if I get into vampires, then it's like a rabbit hole. Then I'll have to talk about Lost Boys, Los Muertos, Dusk to Dawn, Fright Night. Those are all things which, like I said before, Fright Night is good. Watch Fright Night. If you haven't seen Lost Boys, that's probably on, everybody's recommended viewing at least once. I think you can sort of skip Los Muertos. Dust to Dawn is good, purely for the fact of how ridiculous it is. Not to mention George Clooney is fantastic in that movie. And who doesn't love some good George Clooney? And Tom Savini's in the movie, a sex machine. How many times have you seen a guy with a gun strapped to his man parts, and his name is Sex Machine? Oh my gosh! And not to mention some fine acting by Selma Hayek. By fine acting, I mean, oh, yeah. No, that's good for a lot of reasons. Anyway, we're gonna start off with, of course, the man himself, Bela Lugosi, as Dracula in 1931. From what I understand, Bela Lugosi did not speak, hardly any English at the time. And the only reason he got the role is because he had played Dracula so well in a stage adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel. So, that, plus the fact that he, oh, Jesus Jones, why am I running out of room all the freaking time? What are you? Thunderbolt. No. Didn't I just toss? Oh, I'm sorry. Toss. There we go. Did I just pick up another frickin' TM? I'm sorry. Bela Lugosi got the part. Because one, he was Austrian Hungarian, I believe. So, he's from the same place as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe not the same town, but the same country. And, he offered to act as an intermediary, in the negotiations with, Bram Stoker's widow. Yeah. For the studio to have the rights to make a Dracula movie. There had already been a couple of unlicensed Dracula movies made before then, including the rather famous 1922 silent picture Nosferatu, where Count Orlok, famously portrayed by Max Schreck, they changed the name to Orlok so to avoid a big copyright fight, because like legit he was trying to be Dracula. So I mean, there was no hiding it. But he had a really creepy appearance and it was great. Oh no, Jesse, James, team, how dare you humiliate us at Mount Moon? It's payback time, you brat. Prepare for trouble. No, wait, is that what she said? Prepare for trouble. Make it double. Anyway. Yeah, he was negotiating with the widow Stoker for the rights to make the movie as an intermediary. And the studio did not want him at all. They did not. But he offered to do the job for, like, almost the lowest amount of money you could ever imagine for an actor at the time. And they begrudgingly gave it to him, and it really kicked off this horror movie. Not to mention it was 1931, and talking pictures were still kind of new. It was one of the first bigger budget horror movies being made at the time. Well, pardon me. Okay. Sorry for that brief interruption. Alright, so let's see. Where did I leave off? No. Anyway, so I believe I said it was one of the talking pictures were still relatively newish. So people didn't know, quite what to expect. Hey, calm that down. Alright. Such a dreadful twerp. Or, I guess since it said Team Rocket said, that means that they said it in unison. Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again. Okay. Huh? Oh, dang. Darn, guys. What is this? Horn drill. Well, of course you can learn it. Tackle. Alright. Well, he probably would learn it eventually. Jeez, Jones. Iron, more useless stuff. What's up, butthole? So, I must say, I am in... or should I do the gangstery? So! No, that was terrible. So, I must say, I am impressed you got here. Duh. Anyway, talking pictures. That's where we left off. Thanks, jerkweed. Would you hit him, for God's sake? Anyway. Talking pictures were a thing. People went to see talking pictures. What was my point? Oh, yes. Bela Lugosi worked for peanuts to make this movie. He negotiated for free on the studio's behalf with the widow Stoker in order to get the part. And he Well, he had done over 200 shows on Broadway by that point, playing Count Dracula. So, it's not like he didn't have the chops for it. The studio still didn't want him to do it, but he did it, and it launched him into the movie business, and his name became synonymous with horror for quite a while. But he wasn't the only person to play Dracula in that same year. A matter of fact, Universal Studios did was they also had they would film at day using the English speaking cast for their everywhere release, basically. And then they had, what the heck? That was unexpected. Then they had their, here we go. Then they had their Spanish-speaking cast come in, and they would use the same sets, and they would, I thought that was a battle item. And they would film on the same sets, the same cameras. The Spanish version, I believe it was Castilian. And I know I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. What? This cannot be. I see that you raise Pokemon with utmost care. A child like you would never understand what I hope to achieve. I shall step aside this time. I hope we meet again. I got the Silph Co. Whee! Get me out of this crap hole. Boom. And another fight on the way out? Are you kidding me? Hey, you just defeated the greatest person we have here. Fight one more guy. So, yeah, the Spanish version of Dracula is actually really, really good. And aside from Bela Lugosi being like a better Dracula than the Spanish actor, the Spanish movie is way better. Cause the original version of the 1931. Uh-oh, that fight opened the door. Alright. Back in the casino. Wee. So, anyway, look. 1931 Dracula Spanish version. Look it up. Watch it. They could get away with a lot more because it was not being released in, more tame English audience theaters. So, like, some of the deaths are a little more gruesome. The guy who plays Jonathan Harker is completely unhinged. Like, I don't think that guy was acting, like, in the least bit. I think that dude was actually insane. They just went down to the local asylum and they said, hey, who do you got that would eat bugs and probably scare the poop out of us? And they said, oh, we have someone. Does he speak Spanish? As a matter of fact, he does. Sweet. But, Dracula's gonna go down as the king, or Lugosi's gonna go down as the king of Draculas. So, which is a shame, because that other movie was a good, fair shake at it. And then, there were sequels to it. Dracula's Daughter, I believe, was the first one. Then there's, like, Son of Dracula. Yeah, Son of Dracula, where it was this guy. But that one you can sort of let slide. Oh, hello, creepy girl standing next to the hole. Where am I at? Dang it! Alright, let's roll the dice. Thank you, gambler. Yeah, there was a couple of spin-offs of that movie. Spin-off sequels. Well, spin-off sequels. And they weren't as good as the original, which is like what everybody says, but that's a different thing. So then we move on later on to Dracula versus Billy the Kid. I mainly wanted to bring that up because of how absurd the premise of the movie is. Because at that point they were just like smashing movies together. I believe it was like one of a double feature for cheesy drive-in movies, stuff like that. You know, don't watch it unless you just want something to like. It's not even so bad it's good. Just don't watch it. Then from there we get to the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola, who's somehow related to Nicolas Cage. I forget how. I think Nick Cage might be his like nephew or something. Because Cage is just his stage name. His real last name is Coppola. Yeah, 1992. It's hard. Ooh. It's hard to say that Gary Oldman was not a great Dracula. But, I mean, aside from some weird stuff they were doing there in the movie, really? Hypnosis twice? What a jerky way to fight. Yeah, the old man Dracula with the big white hair butt on top of his head catches a lot of flack. I don't know what they were going for, and that's whatever. That's a style choice. You don't have to agree with it. It's what they did. That movie is really good. It is really good. If I'm walking through and I see that movie on television, I'm gonna sit down and watch it. It's a long movie. I think that they were going for a very atmosphere-oriented way of telling the Dracula story, but it's worth your time if you haven't sat down and watched it. I really would. It dives a little bit more into how he became a vampire, how Dracula's more tragic background before he became, you know, the thing that preyed on people. And it definitely really builds up that suave vampire seducing people kind of motif that they've become synonymous with. But I mean that's been in it since the beginning, since the Bram Stoker. He was very erudite, very polite and proper. So yeah, definitely check out the 1992 movie. Not to mention, you know, since it was the 90s, they could get away with a lot more of the gore and some of the more shocking moments, like when they find Lucy luring the little girl into... Was it? Yeah, I think they find Lucy trying to feed on a little girl, and that was great. Just that haunting image of her, you know, prancing around in that wedding dress. That's a weird thing to bury someone in. But just wow, it's a good movie. It's you're doing yourself a disservice by choosing not to watch it. Um, Jumping back in time a little bit, we have the Hammer Dracula movies, which I think the only one I've ever seen is The Last Rites of Dracula. Well, what they did was in was it the late 50s they started those, or was it the 60s? Either way, this production group company called Hammer Films came and started remaking a bunch of these older movies, and they were, you know, bringing them up to terms with the modern times. So it must have been the 60s or 60s through the 70s. They were adding a lot more sex and violence. So you can definitely watch those. The what's his name? Peter Cushing? Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee is absolutely amazing as Dracula. He's like number 2 to Bela Lugosi. But I think Lugosi gets it for pure nostalgia. And then we'll jump back ahead to like 1985. 1985? Maybe. You get a movie called Monster Squad, and that Dracula is a little different. He is like he doesn't get to be Dracula for very long in that movie, but I looked for any chance I can to talk about Monster Squad because I don't think enough people have seen it. Monster Squad is all your classic Universal horror movie monsters in one place against a ragtag group of kids who are way out of their element but manage to pull it together. You've got Dracula, you've got the Frankenstein monster, you've got the Wolfman, you've got the creature from the Black Lagoon, and you've got the Mummy. Wow. They cram so much in there. And then they throw in like the Van Helsing myth, and like one of those, it's a special time because it's when evil has to fight good, and if good doesn't win, then evil will rule. It's a great movie, very quotable, and they, like, somebody said one time that the only way to kill a werewolf is with silver, and they tested that. They tested it. They tested it in the best way possible. They stuck a stick of dynamite in the Wolfman's pants, and they threw him out a window. And when he exploded, all of his pieces came back together, and he was the Wolfman again. So you can't tell me that that's not epic as crap. And I don't like using epic, but there was not another word that fit as well. And then, let's see, another movie featuring the Count. Blade 3. That Dracula was weird. As I kind of see what they're going for. Like, this dude had been woken up after, being out for, a long time. And, Blade 3 was not a great movie. You could tell Wesley Snipes wasn't in it. plus he was getting high like all the time and refusing to come out of his trailer most of the time. Man, I really should have paid attention to what they were sending out. But yeah, so there's 1931 Dracula, 1931 Spanish version, which definitely hunt that down. Watch them back to back. Watch the original English one, then watch the Spanish one. The director for the Spanish one was doing all these crazy, like, new for the time camera stuffs that were definitely unique because nobody else was doing it. And they, like I said, they could get away with a lot more. It's worth your time. I'm just talking about Dracula, so I'm trying to think of other movies. And that's pretty hard. Because a lot of people will do vampires, but they won't do Dracula. Well, I guess there's Dracula Dead and Loving It with Leslie Nielsen. Dracula Untold came out a couple of years ago. I have not seen it. Wow, there's a lot of Draculas. Oh, Van Helsing the movie with Hugh Jackman. That's Dracula. It's a popcorn movie. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I do know what to tell you. Don't watch it. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. That's a pretty good one, actually. That's a good movie. Trying to remember just anything about it. I believe that was yeah, it was Bela Lugosi reprising his role as Dracula, trying to resurrect the Frankenstein monster. But that's great. Yeah. Blackula. Oh wow, there's a buttload of Dracula movies that I just completely missed. Hotel Transylvania. No, I don't think we're gonna touch on that. Yeah, no, those are the ones that I'm gonna leave you with. But yeah, no. Vampires should not be sensitive, sparkly vegans. For goodness sake, guys, you knew this. And you just let her get away with it. Either way, they're supposed to be apex predators. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Alright. So, thank you for your time. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, like and subscribe to my channel. I'm always putting out new stuff. I'm still looking for more requests for my explains videos. So if you have any suggestions, put them in. And other than that, have a nice day, and please enjoy Halloween.